Hi, I'm Bart Everson, Creative Generalist for Faculty Development at the Center for the Advancement of Teaching and Faculty Development. And this is a little tutorial on how to make excellent video lectures. First of all, of course, we have to ask the question, what makes a lecture excellent? Any old lecture, never mind a video lecture. I would say, just off the cuff, a good lecture, an excellent lecture, should be informative and educational, engaging. Maybe it should even tell a story, because that helps us get the idea. Also, maybe it should, be more than just if we're going to be talking about a video lecture, it should be more than just recording of a live lecture. In a live lecture, you might be talking to hundreds of students at once. But in a video lecture, it's almost like more of a one-on-one. So you want to foster more of that personal connection. And of course, I would hope it's aesthetically pleasing and all kinds of other things. You may have your own ideas about what makes a lecture excellent. And I've got to make a confession in what you can't do excellence by the numbers. So in what I'm about to explain to you is going to focus a little bit more on the technical details. That extra something that really makes the final product excellent, well, that's the secret sauce that only you can deliver. Generally, though, we're going to go through in the production process several stages. That's the structure of this presentation will follow. The pre-production, production, and post-production. These should be familiar if you have any familiarity with film and video production, but if not, let me just say that production is the actual recording. And pre-production is the planning and so forth that comes ahead of time. Post-production is the editing and special effects that you might sprinkle on afterwards. And then we do have a fourth stage to consider, fourth step, and that is sharing. So moving right along, engaging the pre-production process. Really, this is almost pre-production. You have to exercise some discernment. You have to choose what path you're going to take. And a question that you really need to ask is, do you really have to make a video lecture? Because let me tell you, it's a lot of work. Is there some other way to accomplish your learning objectives? Is a video lecture really what you want? Is it really the best way? And only if you can answer in the affirmative should you go down the path of making the video lecture. But mainly pre-production is about planning. Every moment of preparation that you do in advance pays off later. So you need to think about what visual elements you are going to need. For a lot of faculty, of course, if they're doing a video lecture, they may already have PowerPoint or some other kind of slide deck ready to go. So that may all be taken care of. Do you need a full script or just outline notes? And you're also going to want to think, mainly in this stage, I think about chunking. So I want to go a little more in depth. Chunking is where you take that big slab of content that you might think of as your lecture and divide it up into chunks. That's simply what it is. A lot of times, the lectures that we deliver are kind of dictated by the class format that we're used to teaching in. If we have a 50-minute class, our lecture may flow from that time constraint. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily the best way to deliver that content. So for example, if in your typical lecture or in a specific lecture, you cover 3 different topics, could you chunk it up into 3 topics? And maybe they're of differing lengths. That could be very good because there's a lot of advantages to working with smaller segments at a time. So try to do this chunking process, the mental work of dividing up your script, if you will, into chunks ahead of time. And you also need to choose your tools. We've been putting a lot of emphasis on Camtasia because right now we have a site license for Xavier faculty to use Camtasia. It began in 2020, is in the second year in 2021, and will continue into 2022 as of this recording. And we may renew that at some point in the future. It's a 3-year contract as at the moment I'm speaking. But there are other tools besides Camtasia that you can use on your computer, on your laptop, on your desktop for recording videos. So use the tool that you like. And you'll see also on the right-hand side of the screen, I have a number of icons related to slide decks. PowerPoint isn't the only one. You can make slide presentations in Keynote or Google Slides or whatever. There's a lot of tools out there. We don't want to preference any particular one. Experiment around and find the one that's right for you. And of course, if you are using a slide deck, you're going to want to make sure you have it looking just right. All the rules of good slide design apply. And that's not really the purpose of this particular tutorial. But do think about it. For example, don't put too much text on the screen. Remember, your students can read faster than you can talk. And if we can read all the way through the screen and you're still talking, it gets kind of stale. Personally, I like to have just one image on a screen, usually at a time, and not too much text. But what you do is up to you. I would advise you, though, to avoid the temptation of creating sligements. A sligement is a slide deck that tries to be a document. If I'm going to deliver information that's more appropriate for a document, I'd rather just create a document. I want my slide decks to look like an aesthetically compelling slideshow. Not just pretty pictures, but pictures that reinforce or enhance what I'm actually saying. And I always like to ask faculty, are you ready for your close-up? Be prepared to be on camera yourself. Some faculty I found are camera shy, but remember, video is it's a powerful way to make that essential human connection with your students. Instruction that's mediated by a computer can be dehumanizing. So, we really need all the help we can get, and putting your face in it is one way to do that.